What's up? Yeah, I'm randomly making a PvP tutorial, so I also have been recognized, so W. This guy's name like Mont0015. So yeah, Mont, you're wondering, that is a shout out. Thank you for being a fan. You know. But we're gonna give a little PvP tutorial. So there's three main ways to start a combo and hold a combo. There's six main factors in total to become the best player in your Bedwars game. The first kind of trick is called hit selecting. Hit selecting is when you let your opponent hit you, and right when you hear the sound from their punch, you're gonna hit them. What this causes is for them to go higher than you, right? And that lets you hit the ground first, causing you to get a combo. Right? Since you're lower than your opponent, it's very easy to start a combo. So the next thing that most people use, or most people like to use, is called jump resetting. Jump resetting is when your opponent hits you, right? And right as you hit the ground, you jump, reducing all knockback. So how do you perform a jump reset? Well, jump resetting is kind of complicated, and even I haven't mastered it, right? But if you can master this skill, then you take 0 knockback. So the way to perform a jump reset is by turning on your paper doll, and whenever you're fighting somebody, just have your paper doll enabled. Right? What this lets you do is it lets you see when you're red. But why would you want to see when you're red, right? As you can see, when I'm hitting this gray guy, it's very easy for me to see when he's red, and it's very easy for him to see when he's red. Alright, and that's going to give him an advantage in PvP. But why would you want to know when you're red? The reason is because when you're red, you can't be hit, right? So, even if I'm clicking like 12 CPS, I can only hit them every 500 milliseconds, right? And a lot of pros, what they'll try to do is have hit rag. Good hit rag is one of the best skills that you can possibly have, but we're going to learn jump reset first. So, the way to perform a jump reset, and the easiest way to perform a jump reset, is by having your paper doll on. And whenever your paper doll is not red, you're going to want to jump, right? So what this causes you to do is take 0 knockback by hitting the ground and reducing pretty much 99.8% of your knockback. The reason I said 99% is because, I'm the GOAT. Anyways, so a jump reset, performing a good jump reset is hard, right? So a good way to counter a jump reset is by strafing. See, when you strafe, right, let's say your opponent's jump resetting, right? When you strafe, strafing is when you, move left to right. So, this guy is kind of running, so I can't really demonstrate it right now, but let's say that he wasn't running, right, and he wasn't being a big fat bitch. What I would do is I would move left to right, throwing my opponent off guard, right? And you want to have your own unique strafe for every fight. A basic strafe will just be you moving left to right, and a lot of pros can predict that, and, it causes you to, a fumble. Yeah. So, this guy is greedy! Oh my, okay, yeah, that's what you get for being greedy, dog. Anyways, sorry for the minor crash out, but... Let's say there was an opponent right here. If I just strafe left and right like this, he's obviously going to hit me, right? So you're going to want to throw in some jumping, right? And you can also combine jump resetting with strafing, right? And that's kind of just making your own skill, which is really good because it throws many people off guard when you just do random stuff. And the one thing that you don't want to do is just move in one direction when you strafe. For example, you're going to want to move forwards, backwards, left, right. So you got your S-tap, your W tap, your A tap, and your D tap, right? Right, since I play on controller, I don't know what it's like to play on keyboard and mouse, right? So we're just gonna call it a joystick, right? Or an analog stick. So to jump reset, right? Or not jump reset, sorry. When you strafe, right, you're gonna want to try to do something like maybe press right on your analog stick 2 times while holding it, and then move forwards and then jump around, right? Basically, what we're trying to do is just disorient your opponent so that it's easier for you to get an edge on them. Basically, make movements, but don't make them random. Because if you make random movements, your opponent will start to develop a pattern, right? Since a lot of people don't know this, but the brain will automatically choose the easiest path. So whatever your thumb is closest to, then it's gonna pick that, right? And it might seem like a split-second decision, but your brain is like a supercomputer. So just keep that in mind. And now, since we've done hit selecting, jump resetting, and strafing, it's time for it's time for the final secret, right? So, what are these players' settings, right? Because settings do matter, right? And since I'm kind of a pro, you could say, maybe like high tier 400, but still good. Basically, my settings are 100% camera sensitivity on your wireless controller, and then controller cursor sensitivity. Basically, it just makes your cursor way faster. Some people like to use, their D-pad, right? It's like this. Some people like to use like the little map thing in the middle of the controller. I don't know what it's called, but anyone works. What I personally do is use my joystick, and then I'll try to use my D-pad. Right, so let's say I'm trying to grab like this wool, right? I'll grab it, shoot it over here, and then fix it with my analog stick, and then I move it with my D-pad. What this causes you to do is have just more control over your inventory, basically letting you react faster to things, pull out your sword, shoot a bow, things like that. And now, FOV. So my FOV is maxed out, and the reason why... Let me be red, bro. It's a problem, but... So, the reason why I have my FOV maxed out is because I use, a pattern which I up it every day. What this causes you to do is, it develops you to have a max FOV, which is pretty good. The preferred FOV is around 90, right? Which, they're pretty much the same, just one's better than the other. I'll let you choose which one you like. But just try to choose anywhere between 90 and 100. Anything below 90, you're kind of just playing on a potato. But, anyways. The next thing that you're going to want to do, right, is you're going to want to look at your opponent's head, and then you're going to want to look at their feet. The way Minecraft uses, how do I say it? Basically, in Minecraft, there is, like, just a line from your eyes, and then what that does is, let's say I'm looking down, right? Now, whenever I press my escape button, that line's looking at this guy's body. But let's say I was looking up, that line will obviously be pointing up, right? You understand it. So, basically, if I'm looking at their head, that's the most direct point of view from my head to their head, right? I mean, that's the closest line that I could possibly draw in the shortest amount of distance. So if they're above me, right, I wouldn't want to look at their head, I would want to look at their feet, since now that's closest. So when you let somebody hit you and you're going for a hit select, you're going to be looking for around their body, right? So I'm going to start aiming at this, oh no, it's a runner again. But I'm going to start looking at this guy's body, and then, okay, yeah. I swear to God, I hate that guy so much. Anyways, sorry for the mind to crash out again. But let's say that somebody has. Oh my God, yo, this kid! I swear. Alright, you see, now we got the classic noob. The noob is one of the most annoying people in the entire universe. You see how I'm using some strafing right now? A few jump resets, you know. Alright. Now I tried to aim at their feet, but you know, they boosted away. So, basically, you're gonna want your own unique fighting style. My fighting style is pretty aggressive, but I also can take in information really quickly. So that's how, you know, I can boost really quickly. And, you know, this guy, I would say his playstyle is a little bit more on the offensive side, maybe a little bit defensive. But, you know, once I kill this kid, then we're going to move on to Electro Mace. So, I'm sorry for the lack of editing in the videos. I just really don't know how to edit. But, yeah. So, no, thank you guys for the support. So, this guy's about to take. Oh my God, bro. There's no way, bro. Say Wallahi. Finally. Oh, I didn't even break his back! What is that? Oh, I'm so dumb. Yo. Well, at least he can't. Finally! Okay. So, now we're gonna move on to my worlds. So, basically, the number one tip for electromacing that I like to, you know, use and say to people is just try to memorize where your opponent is. So, right now we're gonna do like this. So, right, I have, you know, a command that lets me throw a pearl and it will summon a wind charge, right? And that's basically so that I have my webs, right? You can do this if you want. The command is gonna be featured in my next video, but so it just makes it easier. But basically, I like to wear diamond armor with a Windburst 3 mace because it launches you up the highest, and then I can easily spear mace. Right? And this is also where 100% sensitivity comes in really well because you can spin around very fast. Not as fast as if you were on like keyboard and mouse, because you know the joystick has a very small range of movement, making it a lot harder for like fast movements. And since you can only, this is me going as fast as I can with the joystick. I don't even know if you guys can hear it, but basically, the easiest way to Elytra Mace is by equipping your Elytra, right? And as I said in my last Elytra Mace tutorial, you're gonna want to have an angle at your opponent. So, for example, if I go like this, then look down, right? Your opponent should be within a 45-degree angle of your cursor. So, I have my cursor right here, and then the ground's right there. Right? If they're above me, I'm gonna want to angle that a little bit higher. I missed, so yeah. But basically, it's all about angling. Now, very hard to learn, but you know, obviously, since I'm your guy, it's gonna be super easy. So basically, you're gonna wanna throw catch twice, look at your opponent, and then firework rocket towards them. So you can also, you don't have to do it twice, but basically, what you're trying to do is get enough height so that where you can firework, take your elytra off, and then mace. So the buttons that I'm pressing are L2, R1, L2 again, L2 again, or L1, and then L2, and then I'm pressing R2. So I'm taking advantage of all four of my L2s, R2s, L1s, and R1s. So this is what a good one looks like. So I'm not a master at it, but I'm getting close to being one. And now we're gonna do one more thing that a lot of people complain about: lag. There is really no way to, compute against your ping, right? Since you can't really 1v1 your ping. But a good way to still combo with your ping, right? So let's say you have 0 to 50 ping, right? You're gonna want to aim for your opponent's chest, right? Or just below their neck, right? So just below their neck or the middle line of their chest. So like this kind of crease right there. If you're on 80 to 120 ping, what you're gonna do is you're gonna aim down lower, right, for your first hit, and then you're gonna aim up high again. So what you're trying to do is aim lower, not boost necessary, but more shoulder, right? So you got this guy. So this is 0 to 65 ping, or 0 to 55, right? And then this is going to be around 100 to, like 200, you could say. And if you have, an average amount of ping, 30 to 50, you want to aim around near as close to the shoulders as possible. And then slowly, go down further. So, I'm just going to, break this guy's armor so that it's easier for you guys to see. It looks like that they actually take knockback, but we're gonna be here for a second. And also, I'll feature these dummies that I'm using in my next video. My next video will probably be like tomorrow around like noon, So, yeah. But I'm gonna go over all the commands in my kit PvP. If you're wondering why my kit PvP looks different from the one right now, it's because I made a new one. The new one is pretty much the same, but we just have a few more things like the new orbital strike cannon that I'll feature in my video. Right, so we got that one. And then we also got a nuke shot, so yeah. It's pretty simple for both of them. They only take around both, like, 10 command blocks in total, maybe more, but it's the closest replica that I could make. But as always, thank you guys for watching this video. It really only takes a second, and you can always do it, or always undo it. You can always subscribe or unsubscribe, or like or unlike. But it just takes a second of your time, and it makes my entire day. So, drop a comment too if you really feel like it. If you, let's just do like a few, I don't know, dirt emojis, if that even exists. But if I get like 20 likes on this video, I might do another one. But yeah, I just really appreciate it. So, next video.